Welcome back to TV5 News at 9. Get your phones out. It is time for Design Time. There's a QR code coming your way right on your screen, and you can scan the information on there about today's topic on Design Time, which is furniture pricing. We are here with Kathy Kilborn at Tri-City Furniture. How are you, Kathy?
I'm good.
Great to see you.
Good to see you.
You as well. Okay, so people have this big question. Why does one sofa look like it's priced at $6.99 and one looks similar to it and it's $15.99? What is that about?
They're very, very good at copying.
Oh.
The copying the styles. But it's all about what's inside, which makes those variables.
Wow. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the inside framing.
The framing is really key because there are so many ways to put a sofa together. You can actually just make a square box and staple it. Or you could go to something that's much more heavy duty where they corner block, dowel, and screw. And even the thickness of the wood can vary. Many of these companies use like a 5 or 7 ply, so the frame is very heavy and very rigid. And then they'll even put extra supports on the bottom to make it so it doesn't like wrench out of shape. And so everything is built solid. These support pieces go through the edge frame. So it's very important how that frame is put together.
And Kathy, are there a lot of options for support systems?
Well, there basically are two. This is the most common. It's what they call sag-free, and it hooks on the front frame and on the back frame, tempered steel. So when you sit on it, it will go down and then it will come back. The problem is if they don't do heavy-duty steel, after a while, they don't come back up. And so that's when you get that sink-in feeling. Now, the other style would basically be the kind we've used for years and years. Is called Coil Spring. And it's hooked together. Each coil is hooked. And so you'll have a set of these in each cushion. And these are the sofas you'll sit up on rather than down in. Now, there is a third style, which is very popular out there, and you want to be cautious. There's no springs whatsoever. And they just use like a trampoline material stapled over the frame. So if you have a child or a heavy dog that's constantly jumping, they can really stretch that fabric or actually pull it away from the frame, and there is no fix to those. So again, a little bit of steel, a lot of wood, or no steel can vary the cost greatly.
So, and understanding those differences really makes sense when you're talking about cost variables as well. So is freight also, is that an expensive factor
Yes,
today?
the springs are very expensive. The other things that cover the springs are also expensive. So foam. And people just don't think about it, but I have a foam here that's basically air. But then you could have a foam that's very, very dense.
Very dense.
So the better foam is always going to have more foam and less air. But the difference in the cost, I've had replacement cushions just to buy one for somebody who has an older sofa. It could be $100 to $150. So when you start replacing cushions, that can get very expensive. Dacron, the filling that they put in, some compresses. Everyone's bought the $3 bed pillow and it flattens right away. We want Dacron that will have loft and have stability and last many years. Biggest factor would be in fabric. There's lots of brown sofas out there, and if the fabric is an import, it can be very inexpensive. But you'll see that some fabrics have the stain protections are commercial, and they could run $30 to $40 a yard more than that basic brown. And so when you put 20 yards on a sofa, you can get a $600 to $700 to $800 difference in just cost on fabric. So there are very easy ways to change the pricing. Just because it looks like something doesn't mean it's the same.
So when looking for furniture, there's a lot of things besides just style and comfort that you need to consider.
Absolutely.
The names.
You really need to know who's making it, what's inside of it.
Yeah.
And I also caution people, don't rely on old manufacturers. Many of those that we know the names have gone to being an import. They are no longer American manufacturing. Just because you had a recliner that lasted 20 years doesn't mean that that new one is built in the USA and is going to have that kind of quality. So you really need to check it out and make sure that you're dealing with a manufacturer who is here and is going to stand behind their product. Don't be fooled.
Sure.
Because what we used to know is not the same today.
So people can just come here and you've already done the research and you know
Yes.
who the best is.
The stores who go to markets and really search out these manufacturers, because there are some amazing quality American manufacturing, but they're not names anybody knows because these companies do not put advertising dollars into their product. They put quality into their product. So it's my job to advertise it, to give you the option of getting an awesome piece of furniture that will last. But again, that is going to vary the price. So beware that there are a lot of lookalikes. That just because it looks like a $3,000 sofa, it doesn't mean it is. If it sells for $699, it's probably worth $699. Sometimes only $599.
Really? Okay.
So, you know, I see people with fancy boots in the winter, and they cost $500. Then you want to spend $500 on a sofa and last for 20 years? It doesn't make sense. You need to put enough quality into it to make it last.
Well, you know your stuff. That's why we call you the queen of furniture. Thank you.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you giving us this valuable information. And thank you for watching this edition of Design Time.